My brother announced, "I'm proposing to Katie at your birthday dinner. Hope that's okay." Mom gushed, "That's perfect." I smiled. "Do it." Then I phoned the restaurant. Cancel the booking. It was my birthday dinner. At my restaurant. That I own. When they showed up and the host said, "There's no reservation under any name." Can you believe someone would try to steal your birthday? Not just steal it, but turn it into a humiliating spectacle for their big moment, right in front of your own child? What would you do when your family pushes you so far, you finally break? It all went down one Sunday afternoon, about a week before my 41st birthday. We were at my parents' house, the air thick with the faint scent of mothballs and gravy from Mom's good tablecloth. My son, Noah, who's 10, was at the end of the table, carefully arranging little tea lights. He was beaming, whispering, "Just like the ones at your restaurant, Dad." He'd been buzzing about my birthday dinner at Oak and Ember for days. That's my flagship restaurant, my pride and joy. He'd even drawn up little fake menus for it, picked out a dessert he wanted the pastry chef to make. My heart just swelled watching him. Then, my mom clinked a glass. "Everyone listen. Mark has something to share." My brother, Mark, stood up, that goofy, expectant grin plastered on his face, the one he uses right before he asks for something big. His girlfriend, Katie, squeezed his arm. He looked straight at me, his grin widening, and then he dropped it. Loud enough for Noah to actually freeze mid-candle. "I'm proposing to Katie at your birthday dinner at Oak and Ember," he announced. "Thought it would be perfect. Everyone's already there. Hope you don't mind." "Hope you don't mind." My mom actually squealed, hands to her chest, eyes wet. "It's perfect. Oh my gosh. We'll turn the whole night into an engagement party." "Andrew, that's fine, right? You don't need the spotlight." The table erupted. My sister immediately started asking about flowers. My dad muttered something about, "Finally, some good news." Someone joked about upgrading my birthday to something more important. It was chaos. But I barely heard them. Noah was still clutching a box of matches, staring at the candles he'd just so carefully lined up. "Wait," he said, his voice tiny, barely audible above the din, "but it's Dad's birthday." My mother didn't even look at him, didn't even flinch. "Sweetie, your dad's had lots of birthdays. Your uncle only proposes once." Everyone laughed. My throat tightened. Noah's shoulders slumped. He closed his sketchbook, the one with his little menu mock-up, and slid it off the table like it was something embarrassing. He just hit it. Mark raised his glass toward me, still grinning. "You're cool with it, right? Free food, nice wine, romantic setting. Win-win." All eyes turned to me. They were waiting, expecting. My hands were shaking under the table, but I forced my voice steady. "Go for it," I said. My mom clapped. Katie giggled and kissed Mark's cheek. The conversation immediately moved on, rings, photographers, where Katie would sit in the pictures. Noah, meanwhile, carefully blew out the unlit candles. He whispered, "Maybe we don't need a cake." Then, like he was apologizing for even suggesting it. I smiled, ruffled his hair. But inside, something shifted. Not snapped. Not yet. Just shifted. I'm Andrew, 41. I own a small network of high-end restaurants in Chicago. Oak and Ember is the crown jewel. I started as a line cook, built the first place on loans and used equipment. Now I employ 120 people, but I'm also a single dad to Noah. He's quiet, thoughtful. The kind of kid who sketches constantly, menus, buildings, weird little creature chefs. My office at Oak and Ember is wallpapered with his drawings. My family, they love the idea of what I do. They love telling their friends, my son owns restaurants. They love posting pictures from my dining rooms, tagging the location like it's a trophy. And, oh, they love the discounts. I've hosted my parents' anniversary dinners at cost for years. I catered my sister's entire wedding at a 70% discount. Never even got a thank you card. When my dad retired early, I covered 3 months of their mortgage. When Mark and Katie wanted a nicer condo, I co-signed. Then it was 500 here, 1,000 there. It's not charity, my mom would say. It's family investing in family. Funny how that investment only ever seemed to go one way. Noah, though, he was always just an accessory in their version of my life. They forgot his birthday once, not the date, just that it was happening. No card, no cake. My mom said she'd lost track. The next week, she threw a party for my niece's dog turning 1. At Thanksgiving, they did 3 rounds of grandkids photos, and Noah somehow ended up in exactly one, the one my mom never posted. When he had a school art show last spring, he begged them to come. He'd painted a city scene with a tiny restaurant on the corner, oak and ember on the awning. My mom said they were too tired. That same night, they drove 40 minutes to watch my nephew practice baseball. I kept telling myself they were just clueless, old-fashioned, bad with schedules. I kept bringing Noah, kept showing up, kept picking up checks at restaurants I owned when they forgot their wallets. I thought if I kept making it easy, eventually they'd see him. See us. The week before my birthday, Noah talked about the dinner nonstop. Will we sit at the chef's table? He asked, legs swinging. Yeah, I said. You can watch service. Maybe plate dessert with Maya. Maya is my pastry chef. She calls him Chef Noah, and he just glows for an hour afterward. He even drew a new menu for my birthday. Starter. Dad's favorite salad.
Main steak.
Dessert. Chocolate torte with 10 candles for him, 41 for me. Dad, that's a lot, he'd giggled. He showed it to my mom right after Mark's big announcement. She glanced at it. That's cute, she said, then pushed it aside to show Katie pictures of some Pinterest-worthy engagement tablescapes. They want you to get a fancy cake with "Will you marry me" on it. My sister hissed to me in the kitchen while we scraped plates. Do they? I said, my voice flat. Don't be weird, she whispered. You know Mom's been dreaming of this. You can move your little birthday thing to another night. My little birthday thing, I thought about how many events of theirs I'd hosted. The golden anniversary, with the live jazz trio. The time I closed an entire dining room for my cousin's graduation. The way my parents bragged that Andrew takes care of us. I thought about Noah's face when my mom said my birthday didn't matter. They'd been punishing me in small ways ever since I stopped one thing. 2 years ago, I refused to put my parents on the payroll as consultants. My dad had this idea that I should pay them a monthly thank you stipend for raising a business owner. I'd said no. Not angrily, just firmly. I'd helped with bills sometimes, but I wasn't going to invent jobs. They didn't forgive that. They just got quieter with the digs, colder with Noah, and more entitled with the restaurant. So, when Mark turned my birthday dinner into his proposal stage, it wasn't just one selfish moment. It was the whole pattern. Wearing a brand new ring. That night, after I tucked Noah into bed, I sat at my kitchen table. My laptop was open, my restaurant management app loaded. I stared at the reservation. Oak and Ember, private chef's table, 14 guests. Andrew M., 7 p.m. I remembered Noah's whisper. Just like the ones at your restaurant, Dad. I could have called my mom. I could have had a big speech, demanded they respect my kid, asked them nicely not to hijack the evening. Instead, I picked up my phone, called the restaurant, and asked for Lena, my general manager. Hey, boss, she said. Everything okay? Yeah, I said. My heart was pounding, but my voice stayed flat. Can you do something for me? The big chef's table reservation next Friday under my name. Cancel it. She paused. All of it? That's your birthday party, right? It was supposed to be, I said. Just cancel it. Mark it as canceled by the booker. No special notes. If anyone calls, tell them we're fully booked and don't have anything under that name. Okay, she said slowly. She knows my family. She's watched them treat the staff like their personal servants. Do you want to rebook something smaller? I looked at Noah's sketchbook on the table, the little menu half hidden under his pencil. Yeah, I said. Put in a new reservation at Brine and Barrel for 3 people at 6. Chef's counter, if it's free. Brine and Barrel is my smaller bistro by the lake. Less showy, more honest. Noah likes to sit by the open kitchen and count how many times the pans flare up. Got it, she said. Anything else? Yeah, I said. One more thing. Flag my parents, my sisters, and my brother's profiles. No more automatic comps. Full price. If they have a problem, they can talk to me. That was the second part of the same move. One clean cut. I watched the screen as the big party disappeared and a small one popped up at another location. No dramatic music, no thunder, just a confirmation email. Reservation canceled. I closed the laptop, turned off the kitchen light, and went to bed. I didn't send a single follow-up text. On the day of my birthday, Noah woke me up at 6 a.m. with burnt toast and coffee in a mug that said number 1 chef. "You're supposed to sleep in on your birthday," he announced, climbing onto the bed with the tray. I smiled. Chefs don't sleep in. We spent the afternoon at the museum, just the two of us. He drew quick sketches of sculptures while I answered work emails between exhibits. At 4, he tugged my sleeve. "Are we still going to Oak and Ember?" "We're going to Brine and Barrel," I said. "Smaller place, more fun. You can sit right by the grill." He hesitated. "But Grandma said—" "I know what Grandma said." I crouched to his level. "Kiddo, listen. Tonight is our night. Mine and yours. Uncle Mark can propose any time he wants, anywhere he wants. But I'm not giving him your work or your menu." "Okay." He chewed his lip, then nodded. "Okay. Can I still help with dessert?" "Yes," I said. "That part doesn't change." We got to Brine and Barrel a little before 6. The staff had quietly decorated the chef's counter with a few simple candles and a small chocolate torte Maya had sent over from Oak and Ember. My sous chef, Mateo, came out in his apron, tattoos peeking from his sleeves. "Happy birthday, boss," he said, giving me a one-armed hug. Then he turned to Noah. "You ready to play? I saved you a clean apron." Noah's whole face lit up. He followed Mateo into the kitchen like he was being invited backstage. My phone buzzed in my pocket around 6:45. Asterisk, Mom, we're here. Where are you? Asterisk, I turned my screen face down and watched Mateo show Noah how to smear sauce on a plate. At 7:02, the screen flashed again. Asterisk, Mom. Andrew, the host says there's no reservation under your name or any name. What is going on? Asterisk, Mom. They're telling us they're fully booked. Your father is furious. Mark is embarrassed. This is childish. Asterisk, a minute later, my dad. Asterisk, Dad. Did you mess up the booking? Fix this now. We have 14 people standing in the lobby. Asterisk, 30 seconds after that, my sister. Asterisk, sister. What did you do? Katie is crying in the bathroom. Mom says you canceled. Tell me she's lying. Asterisk, I took a sip of wine. Everything okay? Mateo asked quietly, sliding a plate in front of me. Yeah, I said. Everything's finally matching how it's supposed to be. Noah came back, hands smelling like herbs and butter, apron too big. Did I do it right? He asked, pointing at the dessert he'd helped plate. The chocolate torte was a little crooked, but the candles were perfectly spaced, 10 on one side, one big one in the middle. Looks perfect, I said. My phone buzzed again, buzzing across the counter this time. Asterisk, Mom, answer your phone. This is not funny. Asterisk, I picked it up and typed one message in the family group chat. Asterisk, me. You told me my birthday didn't matter. You turned it into an engagement party, without asking. I decided not to host it. Asterisk, 3 dots. Asterisk, Mom, you are ruining a huge moment for your brother. How could you be so vindictive? Asterisk, Dad. You think you're better than us because you own some restaurants? We look like idiots in there. Asterisk, Mark. Dude, are you serious? I told Katie we had this big fancy proposal planned and you just canceled without telling me. Asterisk, I stared at Mark's message for a second. Then I opened a new chat just with him. Asterisk, me. You didn't ask. You announced at my parents' table in front of my kid. You watched them erase my birthday and didn't blink. I'm not paying for that. Asterisk, 3 dots again. Asterisk, Mark, it was one night. You get free food anytime. Why are you making this a huge deal? Noah won't even remember. Asterisk, I looked at Noah, carefully adjusting a raspberry on another plate, tongue poking from the corner of his mouth in concentration. Yeah, he'd remember, I typed back. Asterisk, me. I won't fund a family that treats my son like an extra and my life like a venue. You can propose anywhere. You just can't do it on my dime while my kid watches them push him aside. Asterisk no response. The typing dots flashed and disappeared. Flashed and disappeared. My mom called twice. I let it go to voicemail. The host at Oak and Ember texted Lena separately, apparently. Asterisk host. Your dad yelled at me. Said, my son owns this place. Wanted us to kick paying guests out. We didn't, obviously. Asterisk Lena forwarded it to me with one line. Happy birthday, Mateo, topped off my glass. You want us to bring out the cake? I nodded. Yeah, bring it. We sang quietly. Noah insisted I make a wish twice, just in case. He gave me a folded piece of paper. Inside was a new menu he'd drawn just for tonight. Starter, any snack Dad likes. Main, whatever chef feels like. Dessert, chocolate torte with just enough candles. At the bottom, in small letters, thank you for being my dad and not everyone's wallet. I felt my eyes sting. I cleared my throat and blinked hard. Where do you want to put it? Noah asked. In my office, I said. Right where I can see it every day. The fallout kicked in before dessert plates were cleared. By the time we got home, my call log was a wall of missed calls. 7 from Mom, 4 from Dad, 3 from my sister, 2 from Mark, 1 unknown. I put my phone on the kitchen counter and made Noah hot chocolate. Do Grandma and Grandpa hate you now? He asked, staring at the marshmallows. I took a breath. They're upset, I said. People don't like when you stop doing what makes their lives easier. Did we do something wrong? He asked.
No, I said.
We just stopped pretending something was fine when it wasn't. He nodded like he was filing that away somewhere and went to change into pajamas. When he was in bed, reading with his little book light, I finally listened to a voicemail. My mom's voice was shrill, brittle around the edges. I cannot believe you would humiliate us like that, she said. We were standing there like fools. Your father had to pay for a last-minute table at that chain place down the street. Do you know how that looked? After all we've done for you. After all you could have done for your brother. Katie's parents were there, Andrew. We looked poor. There it was. The real sin. Not that I'd canceled. That I'd forced them to live like regular people for an evening. I deleted it. Mark's voicemail was worse in a different way. Man, I don't even know what to say, he started. Katie's devastated. She thinks you hate her. I told her you were just stressed from work. Could you at least apologize to her? You could have just told us no. You didn't have to play games. Games, right? My sister texted me a photo of Katie's tear-streaked face in some generic restaurant, a ring box on the table next to a plate of limp pasta. Asterisk hope you're happy. This was supposed to be special. Asterisk I didn't answer. Instead, I sent one final text in the family chat. Asterisk me. Going forward, you'll need to book my restaurants like everyone else. No more automatic tables. No more put it on Andrew's tab. If you can't treat my son like family, you don't get the perks that come with being mine. Asterisk I put my phone on Do Not Disturb and went to bed. The next morning, my dad showed up at my apartment. No warning, just 3 heavy knocks that rattled the hallway. Noah was halfway through his cereal and froze when he heard the sound. Stay here, I said. I'll handle it. I opened the door only as far as the chain would allow. My dad stood there in his good coat, hair not brushed, eyes bloodshot. We need to talk, he said. I'm getting Noah ready for school, I said. Now isn't a good time. He put his hand on the door, testing the chain like he might just rip it off. What you did last night was cruel. What I did was cancel a reservation I made with my own business, I said. I didn't scream at a host making minimum wage. I didn't shove my priorities onto everyone else. You embarrassed your mother, he snapped. You embarrassed your brother. Do you know what it was like standing there being told, we have no reservation under any name? People were staring. Yeah, I said. I do know what it's like to be told you're not on the list. Noah knows too. He frowned. What does that mean? It means, I said, I watched you all erase my kid's excitement like it was nothing. I listened to Mom say my birthday didn't matter in front of him. That your other kids' milestones were more important. That was my line. He actually scoffed. You're making this about a child's feelings? He'll get over it. No, I said. He won't. And I won't teach him that letting people walk all over him is the price of being family. He leaned closer. After everything we've done for you, I laughed. It wasn't nice. It just came out. Dad, I said, you haven't paid for a meal in one of my restaurants in 5 years. I covered your mortgage when you retired. I co-signed Mark's condo. I catered Lauren's wedding at a loss. The only thing you've done for me in the last decade is show up hungry. His jaw tightened. So that's it, he said. You cut us off because we hurt your feelings. You going to cut checks for strangers instead? I'm not your backup bank, I said, my voice flat. And I'm not your event planner. You're off my accounts. That's all. He stared at me for a second, like he was waiting for me to flinch, to take it back. I didn't. He finally stepped back. This is your wife's influence, he muttered. You were never like this before. I've been divorced for 3 years, I said. He blinked like he'd forgotten. Right, he said. Well, don't come crawling back when you need us. I won't, I said, and closed the door. Noah was standing in the hallway, cereal bowl in his hands. Was Grandpa mad? He asked. Yeah, I said. But that's not our problem. He nodded slowly. Are we still going to your restaurant sometimes? We'll go more, I said. With people who are happy just to be there. It's been 6 months. I haven't seen my parents since that morning at my front door. Lauren texts occasionally with neutral things, pictures of her kids, memes about coffee. She never mentions that night. Never asks about free tables. She books through the reservation app, now like everyone else. Sometimes I quietly comp a dessert for her kids. They always say thank you. Mark didn't speak to me at all until last month. He sent a screenshot of his rent notice. Asterisk Mark, any chance you can help? Katie's hours got cut. Asterisk I stared at it for a long time, remembering his voice on the phone. Noah won't even remember. Then I typed 2 words. Me. I can't, he replied once. Wow, I haven't heard from him again. My mom tried a guilt trip text a few weeks after my birthday. Asterisk Mom, we miss you. Family is more important than pride. You know that, right? Asterisk I typed and deleted responses 3 times before settling on. Asterisk me. Family is important. That's why I'm protecting my son. Asterisk, she didn't reply. Oak, and Ember is doing fine, better than fine. Without my family's comp tabs, the monthly reports look cleaner. My staff seems more relaxed, not having to tiptoe around the owner's parents, who treated them like background furniture. On my office wall, right above my desk, Noah's birthday menu is pinned with a thumbtack. The one that says, "Thank you for being my dad," and not everyone's wallet. We started a new tradition this year. Instead of trying to wedge ourselves into whatever my parents are doing for holidays, I close brine and barrel early one Sunday in December. Staff can bring their kids if they want. We push tables together, eat family meal, and let the little ones decorate sugar cookies. This last one, my Aunt Teresa showed up with a pan of lasagna and a hug that lasted a little too long. I always wondered when you'd stop letting them use you, she said into my shoulder. Your dad's furious, but your cousins? They're proud. Noah spent most of the night in the kitchen, rolling dough with Maya and piping crooked icing trees on cookies. At one point, he ran over to me, cheeks flushed. Dad, he said, can we do this every year? This is like our restaurant Christmas. Yeah, I said. We can. At the end of the night, when the last staff kids had left, I set 2 empty chairs at the end of the long table without really thinking about it. Habit, maybe. One for my mom, one for my dad. No one noticed. Are those for Grandma and Grandpa? Noah asked. They're for whoever decides to show up and be kind, I said. He thought about that, then shrugged and set his stuffed fox on one of the chairs. Then Mr. Fox is coming, he said. He didn't try to steal your birthday. I laughed. We turned off the lights in the dining room, leaving just the tiny tree by the bar and the glow from the kitchen. Noah slipped his hand into mine. Hey, Dad, he said. Yeah, I'm glad you didn't let them take your birthday, he said. It's like you didn't let them take me either. I squeezed his hand. That was it. No big speech, no dramatic reconciliation. Just my kid, Our small chosen table, his crooked menus on my wall, and 2 empty chairs that stayed empty. Not revenge. Just a line, finally drawn, where it should have been all along. What would you have done in my place? Have you ever had to draw a difficult line with your own family? Tell me what you think in the comments below. I really want to know.